Welcome everyone to my chess stream here on lichess and Twitch. International Master William Paschall. We're streaming as Slaggy on Twitch, Sparkle Horse on lichess. Looks like we've got a little lichess timeout here. Perfect timing. To get updates on the maintenance, go to lichess. To pass the time, try out this mini game. These usually never work. Surrender, Black King. Your army is defeated. Plus, press space or click. White King. You thought I'd only bring the 2 knights to battle. You are surrounded. Admit defeat now, and I shall be merciful. What am I doing? All right, guys. That was entertaining, but let's wait for lichess to reload. Be right back. Honda's here with me. 8 o'clock UTC. What is UTC? Universal Time Control. International Master William Paschall, guys. What's up? Nobody in the stream yet. That's a little strange in itself. Usually somebody's here. Alright, we're live. Man, I've got allergies. My eye is itching. Very professional of me. Alright. Hello. What is this stupid game here? Alright. Let's get this out of here. But that's a bad sign. That's the first time I've seen lichess do this. It's really seriously down. Perfect. Just in time for my stream to start. To get updates on the maintenance, let's go to lichess on Discord. The lichess Discord. Updates on maintenance. This is going to slow down my computer. Soltiga's raiding with a party of 8. Soltiga, what's up, man? It looks like lichess is seriously down. You guys have the same problem, I would assume. I don't really want to stream on another chess site. That's kind of a last resort. What is that? Tomb Raider. That was like Angelina Jolie's best role ever. Oh, seriously. Alright. Should have just kept with that. We're waiting for the Discord app to open, but let's see if lichess will work. Forget this. We're seriously down? Like they timed it. It's all conspiracy. It was working until like 2 minutes after my stream was supposed to start. Still got that ICC account. Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering how ICC will look on my... Let's see. Man, my eyes are itchy. But ICC sucks. Okay, let's go. We can play a couple games there. Actually, I could play. Where else can we play? Special chess competition. Oh no, I don't do chess com. That's not happening. I might play on the free internet chess server or chess or ICC Internet Chess Club. All right, hold on a second here. What to do? So like a 15-minute game? We'll never get a challenge in that. See if I can. You can monitor lichess. It says should be back. Yeah, I've never seen it down really for a long period of time. I touched something and touched my eyes, and I have an extremely allergic reaction. All right. All right, guys. Welcome everybody. It was scheduled. Yeah, that could be serious. If it's scheduled, that could be really like an hour or two, you know. Hopefully not, but I mean, I'm just saying it's within the realm of possibility. All right, window capture. I gotta make sure I'm not connected to Discord because that's gonna slow me down. Okay, properties. Let's do this. Oh, this is ridiculous. Command line. Command line. What's that? Going back to the early 90s here. You lapped me. What does that mean? Here, Panda. You need a booster seat. All right. So what are we gonna do? How does that look? It looks okay. Oh, we got a game. Oh my God! No way. Someone actually accepted my, or someone actually plays the 15-minute pool. Delroy from France. So the thing about this site is that they have rating pool. The ratings for certain pools like 5-0 and 15-0, and I think that the ratings are fairly inflated. You know, so I would normally be like 2400 and 5-0, but in 15-0 I'm like 21. So they're probably pretty strong. A 1700 is probably reasonably strong here. I don't want to do this, guys, but I want to play something while we're waiting for lichess to come back. I mean, it's not my choice to play on this site. So Delroy is the D pawn from Simon Williams, right? Certainly an aggressive move there. Bishop G4. Alright, speaking of lapping me, it looks like Delroy is basically a minute ahead on the clock. Yeah, I will try to fix the board, of course. How am I going to make it smaller? That almost, excuse me, that almost did it. Now if I just move it down a little bit, that's not going to help. I have to actually move it down. All right, inside there. Move it over. All right. It's weird. It says window capture is locked, yet I'm moving something around there. How did I do that? Okay, so I'm 2 minutes down. I don't know, Asterbait, but that sounds kind of racist to me. Alright, C4. Against my opponent at the Budapest Spring Festival, I assume I played like D3. This guy really knows what he's doing. It's a bad sign. I've got nothing here. So, Queen B6. There's also e6, queen takes b7. Wait, not in this position. I looked at this with move 11. It wasn't the same position. There was some position where you could do like e6 and queen takes b7, knight c5, but that's not possible here. Strange. Okay, bishop takes f3. He just does knight c5 right away. The guy seems kind of quick to judge positions. Moving pretty fast. I'm definitely on my own here, though. Dog barking. Bog darking. Alright. Lichess is back. Okay, so that's great. Now I'm stuck playing this game for like 25 minutes. Why'd they have to fake me out and make it look so real? Like there'd be like a long delay. I just reinforced the D pawn with the F pawn. How are you going to do that? Arsenal. He's always got his coordinates wrong. Alright. Maybe B3. Coordinate master. But Arsenal, you're not the only strong player in the world who always confuses the coordinates. I've seen players higher rated than you have the same. What are you talking about with the F pawn? Are you? Maybe I'm just not understanding the reference. All right, maybe the context is confused. Question: I got stuck playing out of the Philidor endgame. It was a nice refresher. I was down the pawn, but shouldn't my opponent know it's a draw? 1700. Yeah, but you'd be surprised. I mean, how little people know about endgames, especially online. You know, if you played an over-the-board game where your opponent was that rating, I mean, they're gonna know what they're doing. But online ratings, and especially the endgames of people who play online, are really bad. Arsenal was responding to Acer. Sorry, I don't know. I just insulted you in an unjustified way with the wrong context. I thought you were talking about this position. Taking back. It doesn't make a lot of sense, though. I thought you were talking about when I played d3. It was going to be reinforced by the e pawn or something. Or the c pawn. I don't know what I was thinking. Alright. It's just a reti. This rook c8 is kind of a solid move by black. Reti. d3 embarrasses his knight on c5. So guys, I'm supposed to play weird openings today. We got a little thrown off by the lichess downage. So when we get back to lichess after this game's over, I'm gonna start officially our first Weird Wednesday stream, where we play unusual setups, unusual variations, and openings that I don't normally play. This is just a kind of filler game to kill the time till lichess came back, but it came back instantaneously. Soltigo must want me to answer a question. Lichess. Now at this point I'm going to finish the game because, I mean, it feels like we started it. Let's finish it. We're going back to lichess after this. Short commercial break. H6. Obviously I can play E5 at some moment. The question is when and why. I'll just put my rooks in the center, I suppose, like rook e1, rook a d1, and play for e4. You know, I just realized I have h3, bishop h5, knight e5. Possible g4. Though even there, like if I do that, he can still play knight d7, trading off my knight. Then I could replace it with the other knight. You know, this is an interesting line that might force him to give up the Panda. You're in the way. It might force him to give up the bishop pair. In other words, something like h3, bishop h5, knight e5, knight bd7, knight f3, and he'll probably have to play bishop takes f3. Yeah. He might as well consider just playing bishop takes f3 straight away. I'm not crazy. He can play f5. Hopefully he won't think of that. It's pretty obvious, though. You know, this is a tough move to find, especially after playing h6. I don't know what I'm thinking. Still not awake yet. You're subverted by a minivan ad. Subverted. What am I doing? I'm like forcing him to go to f5. And I can't draw arrows on the board while I'm playing. On the Internet Chess Club, you can only draw arrows like if it's an examine board. It's a seriously mistaken concept. So who missed the viewer tournament last night? Who said? Oh, Move 11 wasn't here. He missed it. We haven't seen Nefedov in a few days. I wanted to maybe double on the diagonal, to create a battery on the diagonal here. I'm a little bit not awake yet. And then I'm trying to draw arrows, and it's driving me crazy that I can't. Okay, obviously b4 can be played, but I'm just kind of keeping my options open. Having second thoughts about this whole plan of moving e4 now with his bishop on f5, it doesn't seem nearly as good. If I don't play b4, he might get a chance to stop me. So, I left the knight there for a long time. But we'll just play this. It might give him the chance to play a5 breaks, though. Then again, I can play e4 more powerfully now than before, perhaps. I like this time control, guys, I have to say. It's like the fastest possible... Well, actually, does anybody know the rules about FIDE Rapid? What is the actual time control rules there? And where does... Probably none of you guys are that well versed in FIDE rules, but I wonder what the actual time limit between Blitz and Rapid chess is in FIDE. I could play bishop c3 now. That might be better than playing the feeble a3, right? Oh no. This is going to get complicated. After e5, he can play e5, e4, and it's like a Roy Lopez with colors reversed. That's not so bad for him, actually. Although he might be forced to take on e4. That should be okay for black. He can play e5, he can play bishop h7 and just hang out. Because if I played a3, he has that move, a5. Okay, maybe it wasn't a big deal. Maybe we can take this guy out on the clock, if nothing else. Yeah, there it is. Now I'm basically forced to play e5. I mean e4. And I'm making fun of Arsenal fan. I'm an embarrassment to myself. I'm getting the coordinates wrong. Actually, I'm just being dyslexic. Okay, I don't really believe I have anything here. I mean, this guy is... played pretty solidly. He has played pretty solidly. Thanks everybody for joining me. Hopefully the lichess is back. It is. We have little faith. Started playing game on Internet Chess Club. We still have, even after this game, we'll still have 2 hours left, or almost, and enough time to play the Weird Wednesday stream with unusual openings. You guys can all challenge me. 5+3 through 7+3, or anything in between with a 3 to 5 second increment. You know, I just realized, I guess I've known this for a long time, but 5+5 is rapid chess on lichess. I mean, that's kind of weird, you know? 5-3 is Blitz and 5-5 is rapid. I mean, that's practically the same time control. It's very odd. So we could wipe out his e-pawn here, but the complications would be great, you know. If I play ed, cd, he opens up his bishop on h7. He opens up his stuff on the c file. I guess the variation that's most problematic is like e takes d, c takes d, knight takes e5. Well, how does he do it though? Yeah, knight takes e5, dc. And I'm getting raked on the diagonal here by this bishop just raking this h7 b1 diagonal. Ugh. And he'd have b5, like knight takes c4, b5, winning a piece, stacking me on the c file, man. There's nothing I can do. I can't let that happen. We'll just have to play something feeble. The word of the day. The increment seconds add up, though. I agree, Midnight Rhino. They do add up, but I still think that this... I mean, you have to draw the line somewhere, admittedly. I mean, yeah. Okay. It's true. Now black is solid. He does have that bizarre bishop on h7 now. This guy's pretty good, though. He's got the acerbate style of structure. Alright, queen b3. Can we play Benko Gambit-esque? What is that dog? I never heard a dog here. It's been a long time since the dog was on the loose. Alright. Queen b3, queen b6. I guess I just have to play b5, which I don't really want to do. Taking a deep breath and preparing for some sort of rook a1. Anybody? I don't know. All I can do is I hope this guy makes some kind of mistake. If I play b5, I close the whole queen side, and it's going to limit what I can do. We just hope he makes mistakes. I'm surprised he didn't do d4 first, you think? Alright, now at least we can keep the queen side flexible. Basically, what I don't want to have it locked up anywhere. I want to keep my options open. You know, he has an interesting plan here, giving up the center with CB and playing A5, just to try to get the C5 square. It's kind of risky in terms of pawn structure. It might well be a good plan. Wei Mel was what I was going to say. I mean, that's like a really strange Chinese name. Wei Mel. What am I talking about? Oh, this is definitely a blunder. Okay, we're just sacking a pawn now. Now, knight c5, I'm going to have to go back to c2. We have sacrificed the pawn. Benko style. See what I'm talking about? Like, the guy's 1738, but these ratings in the 15-minute pool on ICC, I mean, he would be like in the 2000s in 5-0 at least. But particularly in these rating pools, Nils. If you go to the ordinary Blitz ratings, it's not so exaggerated. The guy's played very solidly. You know, he had... But correctly. And he's calculated a little bit with the sequence here, the way he played this. His calculation is okay. His fundamental play is okay. Just the only criticism was that it was a little bit passive. But then again, you can criticize my play too, probably. Not that great. Well, I mean, I guess he's just up a pawn here. You know, you just take it and move on. Is this a mistake? I mean, I guess there's nothing with knight a6, you know, I could try something adventurous, grabbing a pawn there on a7. I guess the problem is I'm going to lose d3, which I can't afford to do under any circumstances. There is no good way of really protecting that. Okay, if he plays b5, all hell breaks loose. But I don't know that he's going to want to do that. Opening that can of worms. This is just going to come down to a normal blitz game. Yeah, your play is let's hope he makes a mistake. Exactly. I think I have compensation, though. I mean, obviously my white square bishop is monstrously strong, and you can't even put a rook on a8. Something like that. Queen c7, I'm not sure. The e5 pawn, you know, this is very Roy Lopez. Roy Lopez-like. I guess I could have taken on b4 the other move. Okay, I don't like this file, but we're getting kind of passive. Man, now he's trading on a3, just simply. Oh man, this is gonna get ugly. He did that. Wow, that's a weird move. Kind of a weird move, but maybe not a bad one, actually. He's locked the whole position. I have no way through, and only he can make progress, really, with like an e4 break or something crazy. Or pushing his a pawn down the board. Maybe he'll just disintegrate in blitz situation here, but so far he's played better than me. I had queen a4, but he was playing knight c5, and last move it didn't work either. This surprised me. I wasn't prepared for this. Okay, let's just remain calm. Yeah, I mean, I underestimated this putting his bishop on a5 thing. How good is it? I was like trying to circumvent everything. I was thinking of this bishop coming back to c1 anyway in a lot of Rate games I've had over the years. But now he's just playing bishop a5, rook e2, knight c5, knight b3 probably, and I'm still worse, down a pawn. Will he have some sort of e4? There's no increment here, by the way. That's it's an important factor where we can't, you know, we actually have to play for time at some point. Bishop e7, say what? He disconnected and forfeits. Oh my gosh. All right, you can see there under the move list, kind of a weak stockfish engine. It's analyzing at plus 1.1 for black. That's about right. I'm just down a pawn. Not much I can do. All right, guys, we're gonna sign out of here. Thank you for the game, sir. And we're gonna go back to lichess and try to adjust the screen here. All right, window capture. Why is window capture being funny? Why is my window capture acting funny? All right, properties. Free chess, done. Now I have to move the board again. I just did something I didn't want to do. All right. Does that look right? Well, I'd rather get a board. Let me get a board and then game analysis. grab a normal board and see how it looks here. Yeah, we're a little bit off kilter. Alright, it still looks weird though. After that, everything looks weird. I think I have to make the screen bigger. What's going on? I have to fit the screen, same thing. That's weird. It doesn't look like it's filling up the screen properly. Is it just my imagination? Or why does it not look big enough now? I guess I could make my board bigger physically on lichess. This is boring. Dude, that's annoying. Go back. Board geometry. Okay, of course. Let's try this. How does this look? Let's check how it actually looks. Oh, now it's big. Okay, that's too big. But now it's too big. I don't know. Maybe I was just lagging and I didn't see how it actually looks on Twitch. Oh, that looks okay. It looks okay now. I guess it's basically how it was. I just thought there was some empty space there. Could make it look better. What do you think, Soltigo? I think he gave you a big chance. I think he messed up something. What big chance? Alright, guys. Let's accept some challenges here from the subscribers. See, Arsenal, we've got 2 Arsenal people. Scoble's a subscriber, and Chestosterone, Baleful, and Arsenal is best, I don't believe are. If I'm wrong, guys, let me know. Why does it have to say standard? Okay, I guess it should. Anyway, it's our Weird Wednesday stream, so I'm trying to play unusual variations I don't normally play. It doesn't have to be crazy, you know, but it just has to be something that I typically don't play too much. Against e4, you know, I basically play everything, but I rarely play the French. That's not really an unusual opening, though. It's way too standard. We haven't played our St. George defense in a long time. The pawn does here. A6. Wrong side of the board, William. But, yeah, I guess it's better than H5 on the first move. Welcome, everybody, to our chess stream. It's Weird Wednesday. We're doing our unusual opening stream. Alright, Panda. Let me get back to the game here. So, everybody, thank you for supporting the stream, subscribing. We're a little late to start here on lichess because we had downtime. But we played a substitute game that was something. Not impressive by me. Best move according to book, bishop d3. Oh, this is pretty fast. Alright, I gotta adjust. I just played a 15-0 game, now I'm playing 5-3. So that's a quite different time control. Now, knight e2 is not typically what you see. It's certainly not a bad move. What's the deal with knight e2? He's keeping his f-pawn mobile, or mobile if you prefer. Mobile internet. Roman Gingiashvili used to do that all the time. This, like, he had this clearing his throat nervous habit some people have. That's the worst when you're sitting next to one of those people, when you're playing like a tournament game, and you've got those people with a nervous cough next to you. There was a guy who was doing that at the Budapest Spring Festival, like a young guy or a kid, and I was just looking at one of my neighbors, like we were making googly eyes at him because it was just ridiculous. You know, you could tell it wasn't like a health issue. He just, like, the worse his position got, the more he started making this sound. All right, knight c6 here, or what? This is a blitz game, so I don't want to take forever. Obviously, knight f6 is possible, but he has knight g3 in that case, I wonder. Knight c6, d5. I just have to adapt here. All right. I don't know, guys. We're just making it up. Making it up. I never faced knight e2 in a serious contest. I played bishop c2 now. Oh, this feels like a mistake. I guess this is his point. He wants to take with the knight on d4. But it's not like not testing. Okay, he can take with the pawn as well, but then I get his bishop. So it's up to you which way you want to play it. Now it's just a Sicilian. Just another Sicilian. Feels like. Khan's Sicilian. Obviously closely related to a6b5. Some sort of Khan or Paulson Sicilian now, where he's played c3, like a c3 Sicilian, duh. Anyway, it's kind of a fast time control. I've got to get used to this. Changing time controls from 15 minutes to 5. Not easy to do. Trying to find the best move rather than just making random moves here. I can take, I guess, and play for the c-file. I do hate, like, correcting his pawn structure, though. The problem is if he plays bishop d3, again, he has issues there, with that file. But not that big a problem, is it? Darn. Well, he's got a time advantage and a space advantage. Yesterday I had a tough game in the tournament. I made a very bad mistake in a Nimzo. Had a clear disadvantage in a rapid tournament yesterday. One of my later games, and we had another game where I was lost against Bombist, right? Here again, it looks like white managed to get an advantage. Okay, this is weird opening stream. It's not my main repertoire, so it's possible that we're going to get some dubious positions. Not just possible, but likely. Yeah, it's likely we're going to get some questionable positions today, guys. That's the fun part. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, spending your time, and we try to get something out of this more than just having fun. Maybe something instructive, learn something. Temperature changed here very much over the night. It was like really hot and muggy yesterday, and then it was cold in the evening. That was weird. I had to get a blanket. September's a tricky month for weather, but I really like October in Hungary. If you guys ever want to visit, late September, October, it's a nice time here. So now, well, let's see. Queen b6, I'm thinking crazy thoughts. His play is pretty fast on the F-file. This is seriously dangerous. But I can put pressure on D4, which should tie him up a bit. So in other words, you know, the question would be F5, Queen B6. Whoa. Okay, Queen G4 looks like it's clearly a mistake. I could sack my queen and probably have quite a bit of compensation there with queen takes C1. The Queen G4 was impulsive. Scobell is talented, but he occasionally makes an impulsive move. So we sack the queen here without enough compensation, or do we try something else? You know, this is probably not quite enough. But there's a concrete problem that he can't activate his rook. As long as he can't activate his rook, then I have justification for this sacrifice. He's basically playing temporarily rook down on A1. If that were to get out, get loose, I would no longer have enough. Obviously, this is forced. I can't let his rook in. Wow. Brilliant move, actually. Oh, I had bishop h6. And well, that would have been met by g3, though. Maybe h4. It's becoming a time battle. We try to get all our pieces in before he has time to coordinate. Rook a2, take, bishop takes f4, and rook h2 check. Rook a2, gh, bishop takes f4. There's the ambulance. Where's the ambulance emote? We need that. Very important. Normally I don't do this kind of thing when I don't have a lot of time, but I couldn't resist. It was just too entertaining to sacrifice the queen. Not too many aggressive players would have passed up the opportunity. It didn't look like there was many other options that were active for black. But objectively, it's probably not quite sound. Okay, this is just... looks like he's freaking out with this move. He can't get 3 pieces for the queen. Gets 2 pieces for the queen. Alright, I don't think this was correct by me. Now we're winning, but the initial queen sack was sound. It looks like I lost the thread there in between, though. h5 was best move. g6 was a little slow. I could have played bishop h6 right away there. h5 is okay. Bishop h6 is okay. Apparently it was sound. h4. Yeah, okay. Interesting battle, fun game. Apparently my position was sound. I wasn't sure. Okay, guys, weird openings today. I'm taking the subscribers. Who's next? Testosterone. Looks like I had night before instead of, yeah, I totally, completely, absolutely missed it. %100 missed it. Did not see night before at all. Alright, we're trying to play our unusual opening stream for the first time in months, because the day I usually do it is Wednesday. In the summer I had to cut back on the stream schedule to 5 days a week, and we're back. So we have 6 days a week. We could mix up shows, though. You know, we could mix up themes, maybe do different themes. If you guys have ideas, please send me a message on lichess. You can always email me, videochesstrainer@gmail.com. Absolutely. Just don't send me spam. There was this one guy like spamming me an offer from Discord. He got my email from Discord. He was like 3 times sending me the same offer. I was like, dude, don't spam my email. Looks like Chestosterone is away from the computer here. AFK. Why is it AFK, by the way? What is AFC? You have an idea of free chess training for me in particular. Hey, that's a great idea. For me too. You guys can hire, you know, a super grandmaster to give me lessons on as our new theme. It can work both ways. Okay. 7 minutes. I like this time control. I really think I like this best. It's not 15, but it's unusual openings. Okay. Testosterone actually plays G6. We can't play like... I wanted to play the Dutch today, honestly. If anybody plays D4 against me. I always like forget that the Dutch even exists. Because I'm so not used to moving the F-pawn. I don't even consider it on my weird opening streams. A lot of times I forget. I could also play E5, maybe play something I don't normally play there. You know, this is unusual for me. It's not an unusual opening, but unusual for me. All right, now we can experiment. The A6. This is not unusual. But I don't really play the black side of the... Thank you for not taking out C6, by the way. I don't really play the black side of the Roy Lopez, at least not in a book knowledge sense. So the Norwegian variation, the international master Johannesson, who passed away some years ago, was the main player who really popularized this. At least he was given... It was given the name Norwegian variation by some sites, so after him. He was a long-time Olympiad player in the days before Magnus Carlsen and other more modern grandmasters like Agdestein. This went through a very brief trend of popularity a few years back, maybe 10 years ago. There's some other forms of this. I guess you could do the same thing, try to do the same thing out of a delayed Steinitz, which is another opening like Mamedyarov has been playing. My grammar is good. Mamedyarov have been playing. Mamedyarov been playing Bishop A4 D6, the old delayed Steinitz. So knight takes E5. That doesn't give me too many choices, but it's actually a mistake to play knight takes E5. Even bishop takes F7 exists, but it's not a great line. So I think that castles here is probably white's best. Knight takes E5 here. You have to take and eliminate the bishop. And now we get our pawn back, but I don't know if it's better to do queen G5 or queen E7. It's a really good question, actually. If we play queen G5, we're going for the G pawn. If we play queen E7, we're going for the E pawn. I really have no clue. It seems more correct to me to play for the E pawn, being the central pawn is kind of important. But I recall looking at queen g5 at some point and saying, okay, that's got to be. I'm normally playing this for white because you can't avoid it if you play the white side of the Roy Lopez. But no clue like which move is actually better. This is safer, I guess. There's a famous game that Spassky won that I use in a lot of my middle game training videos I've used and lessons. Spassky against Taimanov, and this game was a great illustration of the potential for white in this variation. Actually, black can fall behind in development. Spassky had a really nice concept. Last year or 2 years ago, I guess it was 2 years ago, Ivanchuk actually had a game with black against Cuban Grandmaster Bruzan Batista in this variation. So you see it from time to time. You know, this is obviously fine for black now, but I mean, winning is another story. I guess you have to look at it pretty deeply. This position is great for black. No one would play the Roy Lopez if this position was forced. White, of course, has other options. And I myself had a game, the only other game that followed the theory pretty long against Nebojsa Nichkovich many years ago, in like 2002 or something. Maybe it was 2001. Where I was winning, but I messed it up and drew with white. Queen takes e4, bishop takes e4. What are you talking about? Oh, you like bishop e7 better than... Yeah, I thought about it. But it might lose a tempo. Actually, queen takes e4, bishop takes e4, the c2 pawn's hanging. I'm not sure if that's relevant or not. This move makes sense. I mean, I need a place for my king. So I suppose like f6 takes away my best square for my knight. You could certainly castle queenside there, but I feel like my king is most active on f7. On the second rank, in this case. We got to get the knight in the game, but two bishops look really good here. I'm a little bit worried about him playing c4. I mean, obviously I could take on f3. This is a total transition of position to something absolutely different than what I was looking for. I wasn't expecting to play this pure kind of structural situation. You got to be willing to do that, though. I was saying to someone recently, I had a discussion with this international master from Israel once, Yochanan Afek, and we had this philosophical talk. He basically said that he has this theory about, or he had heard someone who had this theory about how the chess game, it kind of has a life of its own, almost. Like it exists in an organic way. This is like a philosophical argument. He's not trying to argue that chess games are physically entities or something. But the point was, anyways, about testosterone's doing a good job of like just being kind of mental here. By the way. And staying alive on time and in position. Now I have knight d4 though. Knight really got into the battle. So the point is to let the game have a life of its own, and you can't control everything. You know, you just have to kind of go with the flow and let the chess game kind of guide you. Let the position sort of have a life of its own and guide you. It's difficult to explain in a really concrete way. It's just a kind of philosophical thought. All right. Spinal Tap is online. International Master Spinal Tap, the late night dweller, the crypt keeper. Wonder if he's on the stream. I haven't seen him in ages. Yeah, this is obviously nothing for white. I wonder which is better though. What's our solution here? Munoz Pantoja did this and won a game against Narciso. That's ridiculous. How could you win against a strong player playing this way? It's interesting. So 6-4 is the ratio Queen G5 to Queen E7. But it looks like Queen E7, so he has to play D4. Knight F3 is just really weak. If you don't play D4, you've got 0. So D4. Radovanovic. This guy I played before. He actually managed to win with white here as well. D6. Knight F3. Queen takes E4 check. And then I guess bishop E3. I mean, what else is there? So neither of those games followed this line, actually. The two games that I was talking about. White's ahead in development here. I mean, that's the kind of risk that black's running. He doesn't have any pieces developed other than the queen. So that's the one thing you've got in your favor if you do give up your bishop in this kind of line. And that's how Spassky won in the aforementioned game. Basically, development lead is something that white should be really aiming for. All right, anyway, quick summing up. Acerbate. No concrete answers. I'm not going to tell you there's a refutation of that variation, but I think you need to think of like general guidelines, and white's stress needs to be on really using their development lead in some way. Acerbate, what's up, man? 100-bit donations from Scobell. He's amongst good company. A lot of people have given 100 or more bits this week. Acerbate, Merrill Dixon, Chesspots or Wales. There was somebody else yesterday who's in there that I didn't mention. Scobell, thank you. Bukowski the second. All right. Bukowski the second subscribed. Thanks, guys. Acerbate, what's up, man? 48 viewers. So I'm supposed to play unusual openings today. That's the fun theme. But we can play E4, and we can play normal openings, just stuff that's kind of outside my normal repertoire. I don't mean to play like ridiculous openings. Some people misinterpret that. That's not my goal. But I do want to play stuff I just don't normally play. Like, for example, the Dutch defense would be cool. Acerbate is playing B6, so he's taking the theme, and you guys can go ahead and do that. You know, play an unusual opening yourself. That's the theme for the day. So, I've never seen Acerbate play the Owen defense. But I think that's where we leave it off. You know, we don't have to play like G4 against the Owen defense or something ridiculous. We can always play the kings in attack. Actually, after E6, this transposes to the Chigorin variation against the French. E4, E6, Queen E2. So if I were to play G3, D5, does that become a good move? Maybe we should shore up our center first. With D3. That feels passive, though. Where's S4? He would like this. Wow. Black just played E5, sacrificing a pawn. Wow, what does that do? Alright. He has Queen H4 check. So F takes E, Queen H4 check, G3. Probably a bad move. G3, Queen takes E4, winning my rook on H1. That's cool. I could play King D1 though. Takes, Queen H4 check, King D1. Queen takes E4 with an interesting endgame. Or we can play none of the above, which is possibly the best solution. Just a really demented King's Gambit, if you like. Where is Saul? I don't know if knight f3 is really a good move. We're going to play it. Wow. Azerbaijan just reacting. He didn't even think. I was a little concerned about knight f6 there, honestly. Putting pressure. I guess I just play knight c3. Can his center fall apart here? h4, g4, knight g5, h6. Then I'd have to sack a knight with knight takes f7. Get a couple pawns for the piece. But I don't really believe in that. My king is chilling in the center of the board. It's going to be hard to play without breaking up that pawn chain somehow. How did I get into this situation? I didn't mean to play something this bizarre. It looks like Azerbaijan is overextending. Now, obviously, queen h4 check. We could play queen f2 and go into that endgame. We're likely getting our pawn back. Then again, there's the king d1. Kind of unsound, crazy approach. There's also g3. So if queen e2 or queen f2 trade, then he puts pressure on my e4 pawn with knight f6, bishop d3, bishop b4. And I'm afraid I just can't protect that pawn any longer on e4. So I don't really want that. The g3 pawn takes pawn opens up the deadly diagonal, which looks dangerous. I don't know. I think I'm in trouble. There's also queen f2. That's not. I think he's better here. No, he played g3. Oh my gosh. Has to be. You have to trade queens and play just calmly against my center. Now black is just worse. Maybe not. Maybe it's not that bad, actually. No, that's the right idea. Unfortunately now, I mean, it seems like I have pretty strong pressure. Azerbaijan's playing way too fast. You know, you got 7 minutes and you're only using like 1/7 of your time. I think that's got to be a huge mistake. Yet it may not be that bad for him. So imagine if you actually used your time, how good your position would be. But again, a move that doesn't put pressure on my position. You know, this pawn here, you really need to attack that, I think, with knight e7 or knight f6. So every time he finds a good move, he like quickly plays like a second-rate move after that because he's playing too fast and focusing just on time, really. Okay. I have no idea what's going on. Now he fixes my pawns, and I don't know, I have ability to protect that pawn. Bishop takes e5, f6. Azerbaijan is playing the game like it's a 3-0 game. Now just a clear pawn up. What am I, 2 pawns up? 2 pawns up. Can I maintain the 2 pawns? All I need is 1, essentially. Now knight e4 looks really bad because of rook takes d5. Okay. d6. We have a tactic. Yeah, he's just reacting too much. Win a piece. So now he's simply down a piece. We're going to send you to the school of time management, Acerbate. This is not a 1-0 game. This is 7 plus 3. Gotta slow down somehow. Okay, it's really probably a matter of being tired. I know it's late for you guys in the US. Hard to concentrate when it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. Thanks for playing and just taking part in the stream. Arsenal's up next. I think he had nice options. I agree with the other Arsenal. Arsenal 2. That he could have just calmly traded queens and played something to put pressure on my d5 pawn. And I thought I was honestly worse. And the truth of the matter is that I didn't like any of my options after queen h4 check, g3, king d1, and a queen f2 all seemed like black was probably better. So I give you kudos for you know, in an unusual position, finding a decent line and probably getting an advantage. You know, black was actually better after the opening, I believe. Okay, now Arsenal fan Richie is up. The original Arsenal fan in terms of our stream. What do we play here, guys? I played Nimzovich defense and a6. Running out of things to play. We'll just play the Alekhine's defense. I do play this from time to time, but I can't think of something else to play against e4. Oh, I played what is it called? The black side of the Rue Lopez, the Norwegian variation. The Norwegian variation, the Nimzovich, the St. George, and everybody plays e4. We can't get one d4. I should have played knight g8. Kind of a, well, actually fairly standard line in online chess, at least. Bishop c4, but you don't see it too often in tournament play. Somebody was, who was it? Was it one of the players here now who was talking about playing bishop c4 in this position? Knight takes e4, bishop takes f7 check, king takes f7, queen h5 check, followed by queen f5 check. I mean, it's not really dangerous for black, but it's tricky maybe in a blitz scenario. What am I supposed to play? I'm supposed to play knight b6 here. Unless it's like crazy house, right? This is like crazy house suicide. Bishop takes f7 check. I don't even want to imagine. Like you're just resigning. Bishop to b3. Alright. e6, c5. This is in the books. Some kind of anti-Alyoukin. Now we in fact transpose to the c3 Sicilian. This is actually a very sharp variation. I think I lost the game against somebody the one time I played this with black. I can't remember off the top of my head who it was. So g5 ideas around here. It's like queen c7, queen e2, g5. I can't remember though. Then h3, and then what? h5? That like doesn't even make sense. I have a bad feeling about this. So queen e2, g5, h3. Bishop g7, of course. Okay. So I think I had this once, but I can't remember who it was. Some lesser Hungarian master. Maybe a FIDE master. I don't remember who it was. Maybe Kun Gabor, some kind of not really well-known player. One of these GM tournaments I played in the mid-2000s. This is like Tivyakov theory, old school Tivyakov theory in the C3 Sicilian. He's a big expert. But actually, knight takes g5 is possibly very dangerous for both sides. I might end up having to sacrifice a pawn. So this is a line that I played literally like once in my life and lost. So he takes it. Maybe his bishop or his knight gets like trapped on h7. I have no idea. Problem is I don't remember the theory. And I'm not even sure that anything is right here. But I know that I don't really trust this variation. Probably the safer bet for black is to play not c4. So like d5. A lot of players do. They'll just play like straight up d5 or d6 here, transposing to a different line. It's not necessary for black to go into this weirdness, basically. Arsenal just plays a very stable move there. White's position is completely sound. Mine is kind of sketchy because of the king in the center and in general, like a little bit lack of development. Knight a3, knight b5 type of themes. Maybe rook g8 is interesting. The problem is rook g8, take, bishop takes h7. Instant recapture. Should I play d5? There's bishop h5 coming. I can cover that with knight e5 if I have to. It's not the safest continuation though. This bishop has like no life on this diagonal. I'm just trying to castle if he plays bishop h5 and develop without weakening my position too much, but this is not too exciting. Yeah, I would again like say I probably wouldn't play this variation again. But I thought, oh no, you know, Arsenal won't know it. You know, he won't know what he's doing. He doesn't know a lot of opening theory. But I guess the position is easy to interpret in many different ways. Okay, the position's a little too open to castle. I mean, to leave my king just chilling in the center. It's going to be very difficult for me to develop all the pieces, I think, if I do it that way. This is not forced, but at the same time, he doesn't have a good place for his bishop. Bishop c5 is weird. This is probably a mistake. You know, the first I would say tangible mistake by Arsenal fan in the game to play bishop e3. Losing time, more or less. Okay, he could let me take it, but he's going to have to calculate. That pawn could become a target. Bishop h6, hitting his knight, pinning him to the e3 pawn if I capture on e3 at some point. It's his bad bishop, but at the same time, you know, he can't just let his pawn structure get messed up. This is why we need the ambulance emote. I forgot why I missed these ambulances, these European ambulances so much. Alright, see, now it's going to a3. It's a prisoner. He made a decision. But ultimately, anyways, his position is still okay. Just a dead bishop on a3. What am I doing? You know, what's my plan here? Not that clear. a5, knight b4. Now, a5 creates big holes in my position. I'm just playing on intuition now. No clear plan, and a minute less. I guess I just want to play like bishop f5 and develop my pieces. White is still okay. The bishop actually protects the b2 pawn, which would be a massive problem otherwise. In the event of like knight d3, he doesn't have to sweat that. Because I would obviously take that and very likely play knight d3 right now, for sure. Just sending this knight back out of my face a little bit. So it's going to be bishop pair for black. So semi-open position. Not that easy for the bishops to really crush him. Especially my bishop on g7 is quite restricted. But, okay, I don't have to take his bishop right away as well. We could play like just developing moves here. The knight's floating around to give some forks, maybe. Bishop b5 is a sort of threat. My piece is just getting really active. I mean, what's he gonna do? Like bishop d1, bishop b5, rook e1. He's got to calculate all these weird knight forks jumping into his position and stuff. So that's what he's using time doing, I guess. Yet still it seems like black is not clearly better. He did play it. Looks like I'm just helping him. Go to a good square. This is a typical Potzer move by me. I guess black isn't really better. Just it's all an illusion. I can play f5, but now the bishop going to b3 makes me think twice about that. Now he's just going to push me back. Perfect coordination. These ridiculous looking. Bishop on a3 works out. Still, I never want to move my d-pawn. I want to keep this bishop just corralled. It's nullified by the pawn on d6. He has rook e3 all the time. It's just an artificial continuation. Bishop b5, though I don't know what I should have done. I don't think I had a clearly good move. Now, he took away his rook's lateral mobility that way to h3 with knight f3, so we have tricky looking moves. There still doesn't seem to be anything clear. All I can do is just try to keep him busy with like tricks. If I could play knight c4, I would have a crushing position. We almost have tactics. Now he just panicked. Yeah, I don't have to give up my bishop though, do I? Yeah, let's do it. He's done an exchange with a dead bishop. There's a dead bishop on the landing. This is a classic Monty Python episode or scene. The dead bishop on the landing. There's a dead bishop on the landing. Rook a c8. Oh, he defended with tactics. Tricky guy. And knight c3 could happen. He thinks he's winning a piece, but he's not. Because rook d1, rook c1. So we managed to bamboozle him somehow. He just went berserk. Pawn takes, rook check. We can't do that. Alright, let's not rush this. I'm up a rook right now, but I'm losing the exchange back. My intention was to keep my structure with this, but he has 2 pawns for a piece. I'm not sure what the best move was, objectively. I'm certainly getting confused. Seems like he almost plays for Zwischenzugs. Another player who did that recently. But he ends up with less than he should have had. He had like bishop takes f7 check. Is that lag? Man, I don't know. It was pretty murky there for a while. But I think I'm lagging. 185. It's not really good. Only plus 1.4 at the end. It's a little early to resign, I guess. Let's see the opening where we left book. Wow, so this is actually the main move. Yet there's no Tivyakov games. Why is that? So h3 is the main line. And there's also the move e6 here. And knight a3. So knight takes g5 is just a mistake. He's supposed to play h3 and then bishop g7. There's a lot of theory. White has a better score. Alright guys, let's move on. What's up in the stream? 5 challenges. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. We have a new subscriber today. We had a bit donation. Anyway, Arsenal fan with his first Tivyakov C3 Sicilian. And he has played the C3 Sicilian. Haven't you, Arsenal? Alright. I almost accepted Pichu, but he's not a subscriber. Actually, none of these guys are subscribers. So we're just going to play. If you are a subscriber and I didn't realize it, let me know. 61 viewers. Well, my internet is slow because of this Steam Labs OBS. It's slowing down my computer quite a bit. The normal OBS isn't quite as bad, but this has like a lot of extra features and stuff, so it's kind of heavy. I played knight f3, but we can still salvage this with something unusual. Okay, he plays knight c6 now. What am I gonna do though? The goal was to play unusual openings, and I went and I played knight f3, after which my only idea is to play like b4 on move 2. Alright, let's do this. Hyper modern, weird move. He will not hear anything of it. He will not have any of that. Just stop all the fun. Got a weird position here. Okay, we just doesn't have it. This doesn't have a name. Whatever this is, the opening does not have a name. I think a3 is more constructive than a5. It's the Roi Lopez with a3 and a5. This is awesome, by the way. I like my a3 better than your a5, man. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of weakening. a3 is very useful. But anyways, c3 won't be as effective as it probably normally would be. You could do like g6, bishop g7. I should probably play d4 in that case. Strange position. But you don't have to play bad moves. So d4 anyways. This has got to be right. You got to do something here to try to challenge his formation. Basically, it's almost never going to be good to play c3 particularly. The king's Indian. Knightich. What would Knightich do? Play. He'd like c4. Alright, why did that pop in my head? I saw some similar structure. Exactly, a3 is useful. It's just like a kind of standard Steinitz type of structure. The white square bishop exchange of white square bishops is okay. It frees his position, but it's also, you know, his good bishop and my bad bishop. Now this changes things. That's a... Likely g6 is one of his best moves if it isn't bad for some reason tactically. Bishop g5, bishop g7. I don't think I have anything special. Makes a lot of sense. And I guess my fear is if I play bishop e3, then, you know, Bailiff was the one who played bishop takes c3 in a recent game. That's not going to happen here. Does this even make sense? Play this. See, if I take on c6, I think he just takes back with the pawn, and I actually kind of like that for black. That would be a big mistake. I never want to do that. But this exchange is suicide for black. While it might exist in other positions like the accelerated dragon, here it's just insane. It would weaken his king side too much. He needs the dark squares to be protected. Okay guys, we've got about an hour left in the stream. Weird opening stream. This game I played knight f3 without thinking, and I was left to my own devices to make it kind of weird. a3 did the job, but black played a5. Both sides with strangely placed pieces. The knight on e5, the bishop on b5, the knight on e3. But I know that my bishop can always pull back to a4. It's never like in danger of getting trapped. And now his structure is seriously compromised. I mean, I guess he can defend it, but he's going to be tied down to the d6 pawn. Right now he doesn't have a place for his knight on e5 as well. So he's going to play bishop e6, I guess. Then I'll have to play queen e2 or some such. He just didn't think about the fact that his knight is trapped. He's just lost. This is a common theme in the King's Indian. Knights getting trapped on e5. Happens in the Samish. So gotta calculate. You can't play it's not enough to play with just intuition. f4, lose a piece. Bishop e6 though, here would be, defending against the threat of f4 and attacking c4 and defending d6 all at the same time. So it looks like it's playable. Now, unfortunately, I'm on d6, so any hope of playing b5 to fork the pieces is a fallacy. He's just lost. Just lost. Come on, guys. You can do better than that. This is over. So what's up, man? I mean, what did black do wrong? I thought his position was okay, but he played knight e5 instead of just making constructive moves, moving the same piece again. We can seriously identify just tangible blunders. Does this definitely work for me? Afraid I might be guilty of not calculating enough here. So, yeah, I mean, I'm on the e7. If queen a7, bishop e3, he gets a piece, but I get a piece. He can't get his pieces out of take, and I'm already up a piece. It's over. Guys, tomorrow we have our subscriber stream. I'll send everyone who's a subscriber a message today, just to let you know. Thursday night at 6:30 CEST, Central European Time, we start our subscriber stream, which is basically a 2.5-hour stream where I do comprehensive analysis of people's games, well, as comprehensive as we can get, you know, in like 15 minutes, of the games that are submitted here on my channel. So if you guys are interested, send me a message on lichess with the game you'd like to take a look at. You can just send a message to Sparkle Horse on lichess. And now, well, I mean, no, we've got everything. Knight takes b5, man. This is over. It's getting hot in here. The fan. The fan is making some noises, and if you're not used to it, it's kind of irritating. I think it depends on its position. It's a little better. All right, fan. Fan is pretty loud. Here I'm trading queens, but I'm up too much material for one little pawn to really matter. Arsenal fan, the drama queen. My poor form continues. Dude, come on. You played a good game. You were probably better out of the opening, without even knowing the theory. You don't have to be disappointed. I think you should look at it, the glass is half full rather than half empty. You're put in a position where I'm an international master. I knew the position was theory through g5, and you didn't have that knowledge, and you still found you got your way to the position, and even had chances thereafter. You know, you can look at it negatively if you want to, but I don't think you need to. I think you should be more optimistic. I know that I'm too pessimistic in many cases. The dude is not going to give up. Take the fun out of life here. Bishop f2. Don't let him have any kind of tricks. But the fan sounds better now. It's making a new weird noise, but it's not as disturbing. Alright, he resigned. Arsenal number 2. The anti-Arsenal. Okay, yeah, let's play a birds opening. Five plus 3. Make sure the challenges are correct. Everybody should challenge me to casual, something between 5 plus 3 and 7 plus 3. We played all the other players before. Bichu, Shiva Nimzo, Chess Noob, I believe we played. No, apparently not. Chess Noob 2-1. So the only requirement is really that you guys have 100 rated games. How did I miss the knight was trapped there? I don't know, but any kind of King's Indian player, like, I'm on guard for that because I lost my knight to knight e5, f4. The Samish or Benoni type positions, it's very typical. play conservatively here with g3. I normally like to go for a Leningrad type of setup. Now, knight c6, it's a very unusual move, blocking your c-pawn. Okay, if b3, he can play queen f6, which is really strange. The only other move, which I guess is good, is bishop e5. But there it's almost justified. Like, he can play knight e7. It almost seems to justify his move order in some weird way. Okay, if he wants to play queen f6 and get into some kind of bizarre situation, that's fine with me. d4, and we're just in the chess twilight zone. If there's any other options for me, really. To play queen f6, c3, e5. Black probably has a good game there. I'm practically forced to play d4. Then his queen is extremely strangely placed. But if you think about it, actually, there's some strange justification to this. It's almost like a knight c6, knight c3 against the Dutch type of idea. So I also have knight c3, speaking of which. First glance looks strange, but actually it's creative and kind of interesting and more fluid than playing. It's a bit more fluid than playing d4. So I think this move might be more unpleasant for black because it leaves a lot of questions and it doesn't clarify the structure the way that d4 does. If you want to win and you're the stronger player, definitely, and even in all cases maybe, you want to create as many problems for the opponent as possible. I think better for the stronger player. Okay, to create a more complicated situation, to maintain the tension, not to fix things. But he's 1300. He's playing this opening in a very interesting way. The first game he played pretty well against me as well. I mean, knight c6 is definitely weird, but it's not without some justification. As I mentioned, like d4, f5, knight c3 is the same thing with colors reversed. If we get the glare going very hard, let me know, guys. 7 plus 3 is somewhat awkward. It's actually, I think it's my favorite time control. All my knight really does is prevent e5. Ponda is hiding his eyes right now. That's his move, but this is not a good situation for it. Arsenal is best, just ignored my threat completely. But again, we can point to time management. You know. Can't trap his queen. Actually, this is kind of weird. Let's just trade knights. I'm up a clear pawn. I have less time. I think at this point we should just try to keep it as simple as possible. Here's bishop c6 coming, actually. You know, that's the one thing that's going to improve his position. In a coordinated attack, against g2. Something I don't really want to see. He's going to have to give up his dark square bishop. Played h4 now. Right, that's not happening. I don't want him to play h3, really. Very practical. Decent for 1300. I'm more than decent. You know, he's underrated, like most of my opponents here. Strangely underrated. This is a very strong maneuver. Very strong maneuver. Dual purpose action. It sounds like a cleaner. That's a subtle maneuver, but he sacked the piece unnecessarily. The entire point was to play knight f6 when you have double ideas of knight e4 and knight h5. And the reason it was dual purpose action was this knight on b4. So he just sacked the piece here without real justification. If Arsenal is best, improves tactically, and takes his time, I think he could be 1700 almost overnight. Seems like his understanding of the position is there, and he's quick, but he made an impulsive move. Like we see that a lot. The stronger you are, the less impulsive moves you make. It seems to be almost perfect correlation. When you've been playing chess for 25 years in tournaments, you almost never make impulsive moves. Top grandmasters will make them very occasionally. Of course, if you play a lot of 1-minute chess, you're going to do it more often, I guess. Oh, good practical move, bishop g3. Systematically just trying to trade pieces. This is clearly a player who likes to attack. But you definitely shouldn't trade queens. Massive mistake to trade queens. You still had some practical chances with the queens on the board. Without the queens on the board, you're 100% going to lose. This is probably a small mistake by me. We'll just pile up on his pawn. Still not that easy to break it down. He's going to defend. Good move. 1300. Most 1300s wouldn't make it this far. To only be down like one point of material after 25 moves. It's not that bad. I have to be careful. I could even get mated. Let's calculate. H takes G. Rook somewhere. I have rook F3. Then something like F4. I should be able to evacuate. He has rook H4. Wow, he took back. Well, he's got me down to 17 seconds. This guy's playing a lot of bullet, I guess. No bullet games in the list. What? He's got an ultra bullet game, yet no bullet? Alright, this is lost now. Time management. If you're not used to playing increment, that's something that you could practice. But I think that the increment games are really good for training. I never played increment before I started playing on lichess, really. I used to hate increment. I thought, oh, this is stupid, you know, but it's not. It's very useful. But you cannot play for time. No, you should not trade pieces when you're down material. You couldn't avoid like one exchange of rooks there. It's pretty hopeless. There's really no reason to play this out at this point. Even if it was sudden death, I would resign. This is just a waste of time. More important things to do with our lives than do this. Rematch? You must have automatic rematch turned on. Alright, definitely resign when you're down pieces. Okay, Pichu 99, 7+3. Got a correspondence challenge out there. Alright. What's up in the stream, guys? I don't have the stream visible. Why am I playing with the stream not visible, by the way? Got confused when we switched over to ICC for the beginning of the stream. Anand Rinivas, new here. Say hello. Okay, how's my... Yeah, we're getting like the sunlight, the beam from God. Sometimes. You can't blame the 1300s for playing on there. Yeah, I wasn't angry. I normally get pretty angry. I would like probably block him if he did that in like a rated game when I was like just playing for my free time. All right, this is a little too much. I like, you know, playing h5, but I think it's unsound. The chess pandas here. Oh, dude. I like the tribute move, but I think on the first move it's a little bit over the top. The chess panda, we had the first chess panda. We had the first chess panda viewer arena yesterday. I went to the dentist like 2 months ago, or a month ago, I don't remember when it was. And when I had to tell the lady my email, I gave her the video chess trainer at gmail.com, and she was like, chest trainer? I'm just kind of like, you know, what would a chest trainer really be if we're going to think about it logically? I mean, it's like an exercise trainer who only does chests. Do you seriously think that's a thing? Like that's possibly a real thing? Or maybe it's some sort of pornographic reference. I don't know, you know, but the crab, Arsenal's like they're taught to play odd. Well, the other 1300s are doing that against them, you know. I mean, the number one thing is, like, if you're playing increments, you know, you got to change your whole mindset. Nobody's going to, like, lose. But the main thing is, it's one thing if it's, like, bullet chess, you know. Okay, Pichu here with knight c6. Things are getting weird. I wanted to stop h4. Okay, well, it's the straight up King's Indian formation for white. Now e5. That makes sense. Now, what makes sense for me? I like maintaining flexibility as far as castling goes. What would Petrosian do? I was looking at the Russian Super Final, and a lot of good players there. Last year it was really strong. This year, I don't think it's quite as exciting, but one of my favorite young Russian players, this guy, Dubov, was playing. And I was reading his... I just clicked on his name, and somehow, like, this Wikipedia page came up. Or they linked the Wikipedia about him on, like, some chess site. So anyway, I'm not a big believer in Wikipedia, but I clicked on it. And there's interesting information that, like, okay, his first trainer was Sergei Dolmatov, which was a student of Dvoretsky, and is very, like, classical. So yeah, you'd expect him to be ultra correct. But they said, like, Dubov was taking lessons with Shipov now, who was his new trainer. And Shipov said he was, like, Petrosian-like, but I thought, that's weird, you know? I mean, the guy is really creative and aggressive. I couldn't quite see that. But maybe his new style has morphed a little bit. You timed out two 2200s. Wow, creative move here, d5. Well, as far as Blitz goes, you know, timing out people is winning on time. I mean, winning on time is winning the game. You know, if it's Blitz, I never really, like, would categorize, like, you know, that way, like, I timed people out. You know, I just either won or I didn't win, and it doesn't matter to me if it's on position or on time. I mean, a win is a win when you're playing Blitz. It doesn't really matter how it happened. Now knight d4. But I think that one of the biggest things I've seen in my life was in the realm of speed chess, noticing that weaker players consistently never ever put the position first. They always put the clock first. And then there were these players in the cafe where I used to play chess for money, and the guys who never improved in Blitz were always those same guys who only cared about the time. You know, it was players who played for position first and time second. They would get better. But the guys who play for time would always just remain the same. They just couldn't figure it out, that the time is less important than playing for a position. Now, this may not be the case in Bullet. I think in Bullet or something super fast, time actually becomes more important than playing for the position. But until, like, 3-0, you're probably still in a game where the position actually... Definitely until 5-0, you're definitely in a position where I think that the position is still more important than the time. I can't really find a good move here that I'm satisfied with. I guess we can castle. I'm just being very careful about knight d4. I have to play knight h4. I mean, I don't want to play knight back to d2. Actually, I could play knight takes e5, ironically, which I didn't even consider. That looks a bit strange, though. I don't agree with Pin City's comment. I don't know. It's not clear to me. Like, if you give a strong grandmaster a pawn, they're only going to need a minute on the clock, most likely, in a 5-0 game to crush you. It's like a guaranteed win as long as they have 1 minute left on the clock. So you can have a 4-1. Basically, if you give grandmasters, you're like, even if you're like a 2200 Pin City, give a grandmaster a clear pawn odds, and let them give you 5-1 odds. They're going to beat you like 90% of the time. So I don't think that ratio is correct. I think that's like a bad ratio. Time is important in non-increment chess, but not that much. I don't think you can make that. I don't think you can quite make that claim. You know, 5-1 time odds. The grandmaster with the pawn up is going to beat you like every time. Okay, if you play between two equal players, I still don't think it's still going to be. Okay, you can say the grandmaster is going to beat you anyway. All right, so maybe my example's not good, but I don't agree with one pawn equating to a minute. You know, maybe in 3-0, 2-0, 1-0, but as the time control gets longer, the time is going to mean a lot less. Castles here. Knight takes e5, queen takes g2 check. King takes, knight takes e5, f3. Wait, what am I missing? I guess we have to do this and find out. Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. But I still don't agree with the ratio of 1 minute to a pawn or whatever. A pawn is a decisive position. I mean, a pawn should just win. The competent player. For the most part. Okay, what is black threatening here? Not really clear. Knight g4. I feel like Pichu is just trying to do the opposite of what I've been like trying to tell people, you know, not to play for time. He's basically doing the opposite. I don't remember him being over 2200. He must be at his like peak or something. He missed h4 there. Could have played h4 there. This is quite a spectacular sacrifice by black. Using no time. I could be lost here, or just not lost, but in trouble. The board looks stretched. It does. All right. I guess I'm probably lost here. Just an absolute brilliancy by black. Perfect. I don't think I can survive this. Just lost. Yeah, that's quite a sacrifice. Just completely busted. Time and position. Spectacular game. Should be like 2,500 playing like this. This is a great game for black. He doesn't play a lot of bullet actually. Only 74 games. It's very unusual here on lichess. He's 1,700 in chess 960. 2,100 in Blitz. 2196 in Rapid. This is his highest rating in Rapid. So I guess I'm just lost here. What am I doing? No game found. It's the worst I think I've ever been beaten on lichess by anybody. The glare on the computer is getting worse here. Alright, let me see. Can't really fix it right now. So this decision here, sacrificing the pawn in e5 turns out to be stockfish. Castle's queenside, best move. Very strangely, knight g5 was considered playable by the engine after Castle's queenside. So I mean, this is actually a strong move. Somehow this sacrifice isn't as good. Well, obviously he's not getting those pieces. So, I mean, this is totally a different game. Queen d7, if I try to play like bishop h3, knight g4, f3, for example. It's also very dangerous for white. I lost a Blitz game yesterday too. I got caught in an opening trap, or 2 days ago. Yeah, but I didn't think this was that strong. I mean, I obviously realized it's possible, but I thought that it wouldn't be enough. This is, I guess here I went under. If I play the correct moves, I can still defend to some degree. I think it's a very difficult position. And already at this point I had just 1 minute and 40 seconds to his 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Rook e1 was a mistake. I should play queen here. I didn't see the idea of like queen c3, maybe. Queen e1, queen c3. But this is clear advantage to black, like, right away. Yeah, this is perfect for black. I don't know why the chess computer gave him a lot of question marks, like bishop c5 here. But I mean, that's really marginal. I mean, this move is like... Yeah, he had h4. I saw that. I mean, I expected h4, actually. But I think that all these moves are good. Bishop c5, knight g4, h4. I don't think he deserves a question mark for playing bishop c5. I mean, it's like the third best move, but all the moves are good. But apparently this is something he really shouldn't miss. That looks strong. In fact, I thought I should have played bishop g5, but I finally, you know, like, didn't do this because I thought it's just like, you know, not doing anything. I mean, I can't even move the bishop because of knight e3 check. So no, this is just lost for white. Alright, next game, last game for today, guys, I think. This is Shiva Nimzo. 7+3. That wasn't good. We need to play an unusual opening. E3. Yeah, I didn't think that queen takes g2 was decisive, but it probably objectively is. Like, looking at that with the engine, it says +1 now, but if you let the chess engine run for deep enough, it might turn out that black's advantage is even larger than +1. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like +1.5. Objectively, after the queen sacrifice on g2, that's an extremely difficult position. It's no wonder I messed up and couldn't defend. I mean, it's like just a thankless task. So I misevaluated that. I didn't think he would have it, you know, really legitimate. Queen takes g2 there. But really, even if it was not lost for me, I'd have to play like a computer, literally, to not lose. Okay, so this is like a Larson opening with e3 played first. Now, bishop e5 is standard. We can play other stuff. Shiva Nimzo. I don't recall the first game. Shiva. The main line is bishop e5, but it's gone through a kind of period where it wasn't very popular, not because of this move, but because of bishop d6. Bishop d6 is a good line for black. I mean, d6 is okay. I don't like losing, to be honest. Alright, I don't know enough about this position as well. But I guess d4 makes sense. We take with a piece if he takes on d4. In this case, we're forfeiting the bishop. But white's not worse. That's the justification. I'm not worse. Anyway, it's good for the ego to lose a game occasionally. I don't want to just beat on people who are worse than me. You know, that's not good for my game. Sometimes I think, like, you know, streaming in general might hurt my play because I'm not playing enough strong players. So it's good for me to lose some games, especially like the last one. It's like a wake-up call. Gotta be playing better. Make me sharper. So thanks for that game. It's good to know that I'm not all that perfect, and I've got a lot of work to do in my own game, but objectively, the problem is misevaluating the queen sack. You know, thinking, oh, that's probably okay for me. You know, my true evaluation of the position was faulty. So he takes back with the pawn. I mean, this is more dynamic than taking back with the bishop. creating some imbalance. I'm happy for it though, because I like playing I like playing with the more, let's say, like I said, imbalanced structure. Now where to put my knights? You'll quote your last opponent on lichess? What does that mean? Don't be obsessed. I am way better than you. I guess it doesn't matter. I really don't want to block my bishop with knight c3. Oh no. After he realized he's losing to mate in 3. Arsenal, don't mind the hate. The hate. Haters gotta hate, man. It makes him feel better. He's venting. He's deeply in pain, crying out for help. Yeah, I handled losing a little bit better. It still hurts. I'll internalize it and trash my room after I'm done. Now where to put the knight though? I mean, it could go to e2 and have these outpost squares on g3 and f4 sometimes. The thing is, I was thinking about the bishop coming c5, bishop c6, and attacking g2. Where does my knight go from f3? It doesn't really have any good squares to go to. You know, where am I going to go? There, there, there. From here it can go to this square, maybe this square, maybe this square. It seems like it has a better future. I'm concerned about c5, queen d3, bishop c6, castles. That's okay. But another idea is c5, queen d3, knight g4. Okay, he can't just drop g7 most likely. The a5 is a good move. Very logical, man. Don't know anything about this player. I mean, I played one game against them, but I like the way that they're delaying castling here. It's still not easy to do anything. They can't move this knight without dropping g7, and that's the problem with giving up their strong point on e5. I'm a little bit worried about my queen. Now, there's still no castling. He has knight e8, though, at some point. Or knight h5, even. This was the plan, to put the knight on a better square than f3. Not that I have anything immediate, under any circumstances, but we're saying c5, queen d3, and yeah, that's the worst when they let the clock run out. But I think there's a penalty for that. You know, if you do that on a regular basis, you can get your account. You should report them for that. Continually doing that will result in a ban by lichess or whatever. Well, okay, d5. I did not properly consider this. Now I hope g5 isn't really on the table. it's an extremely weakening move. But every time Shiva Nimzo just keeps coming up with moves I didn't really expect. A5 was unexpected, D5 was unexpected. And that's bad because I'm analyzing variations and then I'm trying to use them in the future, but I can't put any of the stuff I was looking at to use now because black's completely changed the structure to something I didn't expect with D5. I've been basically doing all of my thoughts and analysis on black trying to play like C5. Completely different plan. I feel like my queen is getting backed into a corner here. Look at this, like bishop f5, queen c3, bishop b4. They just have serious problems in this position for white. I already like black better. I guess I can play... no. No, knight f3 is a catastrophe. It's knight e4 and there's no getting rid of that. You know, that piece is going to kill me. I can't play that under any circumstances. So white is like clearly worse now. I have to bail on this whole diagonal. Man. Castle queenside is like, what? Castle queenside is very dangerous, but I guess it's not impossible. But the problem is the bishop f5 looks really scary. I wonder if e4 is even possible. Too dangerous. Black is better now. Actually, black is definitely better. Queen c8. a5, d5, queen c8. This is brilliant. He also opened up his bishop on e7 with the move d5. This was a terrific plan. I don't know why I was so focused on c5. This is our last game, guys. Got to go after I lose this one. I'm getting like Arsenal. Let's be pessimistic. The loss of the last game basically dealt a serious blow to my self-confidence. Alright, I think we've got very, very strong sunlight bouncing off the stream here. It's not hitting me, really. It's on my arm. Get a laser. I'm gonna get a sunburn wristband on my arm from the window. Yes. He played bishop f5. Okay, that wasn't a bad move. Not a bad move. Just physically defend my pawn, I guess. Black is better here. The structural disadvantage doesn't seem to be very significant for black at all. Like, the fact that he has an isolated A pawn and double B and C pawns, I have literally no way to compensate or to kind of exploit that in this position. You know, it seems like black is just better. He's got better mobility for his pieces. Yeah, rook e8 is a perfect move. Maybe somehow I can swindle black, but right now black stands clearly better. Played this perfectly. At least you can win games where you're better. Yeah, I do that. If I can get the advantage. Okay, today's hard. You know, I'm playing these unusual openings, stuff I don't normally play. So I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage, self-inflicted disadvantage. It's supposed to be fun. Guess I'm just exchanging pieces with this move. Doesn't really matter that much. He should just take on f4. There's no way he should take on f6 and allow his pawn structure to get destroyed. I have queen f3. Got to think about it for a moment. Doesn't really do anything. I don't see the value in queen f3. Man, this move is a terrible blunder. Maybe queen f3 is a good move. If you want to trap your own queen, I guess. Wow, he's just going to win on time and position. Almost lost directly there with d4, which is still an interesting move. No, he can't play d4. What am I talking about? I thought he had d4. So I could have played bishop c3, and I didn't do it. I hallucinated he had d4 for some reason. Okay. I'm in a really, really bad way here. We ended up playing knight f3, which I didn't want to do before. Oh man, I was like lost there. I still am in a bad position. I just lost the game. Basically committed suicide. I think I got bad lag too. No, it's just 103. It felt like my pieces were slow. Look at this. But even there, I was just getting crushed. Even if I don't just freak out with h3, the whole game was like masterful by black. This is a player who I don't really know well. This game was brutal for me. Masterful again by black. Looks like I made a lot of mistakes. But again, a player, he's rated like 2072, played brutally. 1900 in Blitz. But you got a lot of Centipon loss, 26. And it's going down 2 mistakes he made. One of his mistakes is like his final move, bishop e5. So he didn't play the most devastating move. What this now says, bishop e5 was right. Best move according to the engine, question mark. So that's not a mistake. The other question mark was bishop g4. But I don't know, my stockfish is a little bit messed up because of OBS running and stuff. This bishop g4 is the first move most people would play. Hard to quantify it as a clear mistake when white's almost in Zugzwang. But he has even stronger queen h6. This is defending against the mate on g7. Yeah, this is a pretty impressive game by black. Much cleaner than like Pichu's win against me. Another brutal loss. Can you see if what? Knight f3 was engine. Knight f3, like, what do you mean? Like when I played it, or which point? Here? This is where I debated for a long time. I spent a minute trying to decide whether to play knight e2 or knight f3. I'm curious about a5 being an engine move. Yeah. It's in the top 3. But he spent quite a bit of time on a5 here. I thought that was an incisive move. Most people would castle like routinely, especially like, you know, lower rated players. But a5 is, according to my stockfish, not the #1 move. It's just doing the normal castle. a5, a4. This d5 was the other very strong move here, which is best according to Engine. But it, you know, it's committal, and I don't know if I would have found it. It's looking at my move c5 as second or third best with rook e8. d5 is clearly best. Yeah, it's basically an almost perfect game. The only mistake, the only inaccuracy that black made the entire game, and 26 center pawn loss seems kind of exaggerated. The only mistake that black made the whole game was playing this bishop g4. But it's really not a big mistake, you know. He played the third best move, basically. Instead of queen h6 or queen g6, he played bishop g4. But ironically, like, my move is even a blunder. Queen d4 I thought was a good move. It's actually a bad move. Knight f3 after queen c8. I mean, white's already worse, which I said during the game. Queen c8 is also Engine. You know, that's a move that a lot of people wouldn't think of. Of course, stronger players like masters are going to have that in their candidate moves. And sometimes you see queen b8 as well in this type of structure. Rook e8 or queen c8. The moves are equal according to Stockfish, more or less. Yeah, this is an almost flawless game by black. Okay, guys, that's it. I gotta go. 2 brutal losses to finish it off today, right? This was pretty impressive play by my opponents. But what can you do? Yeah, nice way to end the stream, me. What can I do, though? If you guys play master strength chess, I'm likely to lose. So knight f3, knight e5 was your idea there, Arsenal. Yeah, but I don't think I'm in any place to be playing like offensive moves here. The problem is, okay, knight f3, bishop f5. I can't go to c3 because of bishop e4. I mean, pretty much anything I do, I'm always worse. I have to go back to d1, and black has the initiative here. It also has things like queen a6. This is a... I didn't even look at it. We're looking at it now. But it's time to go. Yeah, this is bad. Everything's bad. I mean, again, like after queen c8, this is Engine. I think that white is slightly worse, and it's just like a thankless position again. Queen e2 was unnecessary, perhaps, but I didn't know what I was going to do about my c2 pawn. If I castle, like the computer is recommending, bishop f5... Okay, I guess I have queen c3. No, I don't have queen c3. I have queen c3. Wait, how does that work? Queen c3, bishop e4 wins a piece. So I didn't see how this was justified. Basically this. I looked at this for a second and then dismissed it. You know, I don't know. I think I thought that he could protect the bishop with something like queen f5. Well, the problem is, Arsenal, that I don't have a white squared bishop. So it's like the Winnower French. When you're playing queen c1 or something like in the Winnower French, the other guy doesn't have a piece, the key piece that controls the white squares. When he plays queen c8, he's using that to influence the white squares in the position, where the squares that I'm weak, I cannot control those squares properly because I've traded off my white squared bishop. And that's why queen c8 is a good move here. Just like in the yeah. It's a very typical idea with bishop on d7. Obviously, it would be more typical also with the pawn on h3 and possible sacrifices. But again, you see queen c1 like in the French Winaware probably from time to time. I mean, more often it's like bishop c1, bishop a3. He'd prefer to have like bishop a6. But look how powerfully that queen transfers to a6 in some of the variations that we just looked at. Anyway, basically a perfect game by black. Thanks guys for tuning in. Today was the weird opening stream. Tomorrow we're going to have a subscriber stream on Thursday. It'll be game analysis, so please submit the games. If you want to, send me a message on lichess. My handle there is Sparklehorse, as you can see. You can send the games in, and we will take a look with game analysis for subscribers on Thursday night, 6:30 CEST. Thanks everybody for watching and subscribing to the stream. Thanks for the bits donations, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thanks Soltigo for moderating. Get some sleep. I'll see you guys later. Okay guys, bye bye.